Hey, everybody. You're listening to Page Screen and Beyond podcast number 16 for October 20th, 2019. This week in Page, we have Obnoxio the Clown coming to a new crazy number 1, and Shriek gets announced for Venom 2. This week in Screen, we have Paul Dano getting cast as the new Riddler in the new Batman movie, and Neil Patrick Harris getting cast in The Matrix 4. And this week in Beyond, we talk Analog Pocket, a new Game Boy type device, and Microsoft is developing a new artificial intelligence to help censor offensive language.
How's your October going? Been watching or doing anything fun, festive with pre-gaming?
Well, I had my
season.
No, nothing too spooky yet. We're not really planning on doing anything. We went to the zoo the other day, and they have like a pumpkin trail where you can like walk around, and there's like pumpkins at night type thing.
Nice.
But we went during the day, so
Still festive.
It was still nice. It was quiet. It was nice. Saw monkeys. Saw moose. Saw tiger. Saw all the animals. It was cool. The zoo's awesome.
That's a good time.
Minnesota Zoo is always cool. It was fucking $40 to get in, but for 2 people, motherfucker, I'm gonna get this fly right. Fucking. Did I get him?
Dirty bastard escaped.
No, he's out. Okay. We have a contamination, boys. But no, yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm just trying to cheer her up because of the car accident. So, yeah. No, it's good though. Other than that, we're yeah, not really planning anything for Halloween. Just kind of keeping it chill.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, since the accident, it's kind of like, let's just stay in and
well, if you're gonna
hang out.
Watching a bunch of horror content or
That's really what we're doing.
Themed content.
Yeah.
That actually is a question I've been asking a bunch of people recently, going through watching a lot of them. What's your favorite Tim Burton movie?
Ooh,
because Tim Burton is very much Halloween, and
he is a good Halloween director. Him
And
and
he's
him
done
and Quentin Tarantino and Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie's a whole.
I still need to see 3 from Hell. One of my friends picked it up the other day.
Did they?
Yeah.
I am
So,
very excited.
It's like out on DVD. Like you can get it. So already.
Very excited for that. I might do that before we wrap up the month.
Yeah. That might be my shout out. Is that 3 from Hell, Rob Zombie.
Hell yeah.
Check you out some Rob Zombie flicks if you like a good horror movie. Like, it's pretty like graphic, I would say. Spoiler warning, like a lot of people die and there's a lot of blood and it's pretty intense. But he's definitely the Guillermo del Toro of our, like, he's not in our generation. He's more in, like, I watched it. He was on Joe Rogan actually a few weeks ago promoting the movie.
Zombie was?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've never seen him talk. I mean, how many videos are there of him, just being a random person? But he's very relatable. Like, he's just a kid from Jersey. Like, he liked horror movies growing up and like,
yeah. He has an artist's eye.
just kind of like did the music thing, and then just kind of, did what he wanted to do, did what he was interested in. And
I mean, they gave him a crack at the Halloween franchise 2 times.
Yeah. He's a good example of like one of those like follow your dreams no matter what and you'll make it. And it's like you hear his story and he's kind of like a rags to riches type of situation. Mm-hmm. So it's a good inspirational story. And then just like he just creates what he likes, and what he likes happens to be like a cult classic favorite, like to a degree that like who else do you know has that, like, they've only done 3 movies and everyone loves them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely if you can give that Rob Zombie interview on Joe Rogan a look-see, because he's a super interesting character. A lot of crazy stories. He used to work at like a carnival as a kid, of course, and dealing with all the carnies and shit. So like you can see where his inspiration for these movies and stuff comes from. So, yeah.
Love Rob Zombie.
Speaking of crazy clowns, we have literally Crazy the Clown. Yeah, tell us about this, Keegan. He's what is this? What is he out of? Is it Marvel Comics?
Yep,
Yeah.
Marvel. And I was, before we were getting into this, talking about how it's a new comic out, reprinting of, I'm not sure how old it is, but he's a clown that in a way of Deadpool, but meets Freddy Krueger. That's the wording I was using.
He's a gory character, isn't he? Yeah. It's like blowing shit up. He's almost like a weird Joker character for Marvel's universe too, in a weird way.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to pull it up.
No, you're good.
Obnoxio the Clown is the character.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like people have the inherent fear of clowns, so anytime he's not trying to make it a good time.
So yeah, the description says, no hero is safe, no comic book event is sacred. Have we gone crazy? Yes! Exclamation point. And to prove it, we've unsealed the crazy vault and rummaged through the hilarious history of the classic Funny Mag. Witness Obnoxio's unsettling origin and cringe as he takes on the X-Men. Go mean green with Chester Weems and the Teen Hulk. Brace yourself for, retread of funnies. It's got a bunch of characters. Like, all the X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Like, it's an interesting concept. I'll give him that.
No, just gotta love the random pantheon of Marvel that you have just such an obscure character, but it can still touch on every existing franchise.
It's kind of like, it's a Joker character, like Agent of Chaos, where it's just like there to fuck shit up, to teach you that shit can get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Well, it's going for $20. It's going to be in shops January 15th, 2020. So not till this next year, but early this next year it'll be available. So keep an eye out for it. You'll know it when you see it. It's a clown, very menacing, with he's like a fat clown with like a beard. He almost looks like a dog. It's weird. Like when you really like stare at it, it's like.
That's just a singular image. And again, I brought up the Freddy Krueger of it because it kind of seems like he's just going to attack people in different ways.
Who was that clown from Spawn?
The Violator.
The Violator. It kind of reminds me of that a bit. With
Yeah.
like this little hat, the big teeth, and then he's holding a pie with a bunch of characters. It looks like Iron Fist, The Thing, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Mr. Fantastic, and
Looks like Camilla Khan's Miss Marvel.
you are correct. There's a giant hand in there. So yeah, that's her. So yeah, a little bit of everybody. And if you want to see a clown take on all those characters and throw some crazy antics at them, take a look at it.
Yeah.
Next up for Page. Well, I guess we should probably introduce ourselves. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Page Screen and Beyond Podcast. My name is John Tubbs.
I'm Keegan Lagerwall.
And your home, welcome to your home of a little bit of news, perspective, and a whole lot of banter.
Oh, yeah.
So next up, we got the first appearance of Shriek in Spider-Man comics is getting bought up by everyone now that she's been announced for Venom 2. I'm not too familiar with this character, but this is a good thing for me because what it shows is that like people are actually going back and appreciating the comic book like origins of these characters and trying to learn more about them.
Right.
And
Well, ever since Thanos, everyone's wanted to be in the know.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as there's a tease to a character you're unfamiliar with, like, my big one right now would be, wanting to dive more into Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is another one that I've never really heard about, except for the Ten Rings. But yeah. No, this is good, because...
And you have me sold every time you bring symbiotes in.
yeah.
Like...
100%. And
Riot, I don't want to say was like lackluster, but it was a preamble to what's to come with the potential of the symbiotes.
yeah. Is she a symbiote? I feel like she might be a symbiote, or is she a metahuman? Allied herself with Carnage. A dangerous and criminally insane villain with the ability to manipulate sound. So yeah, she's not a symbiote. She's just like another character.
Oh, that's romantically involved with Carnage.
I believe so. Yeah. Or at least she partnered up with him and went about New York killing spree. She has worn a variety of symbiotes in her time. Oh, I guess so.
Even adopted children and other symbiotes?
Interesting. In today's Marvel comics, she is currently involved in a cult dedicated to worshiping the symbiote god Null and killing former symbiote hosts to recover their codices they left behind.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love dripping in symbiote lore.
Yeah. Goddamn. There's so much to this story. But no, yeah, I'm just glad that people are going back and like buying old comics, because that like it's one of those like lost medias. It's kind of like going back and buying a newspaper.
Hell yeah.
Which, funny enough, I actually found the newspaper from the day after 9/11 in my parents' house the other day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a trip.
I'm going to actually try and get it framed. Yeah, I just like, I mean, it's not being a hipster. It's just like appreciating the origins of that type of entertainment. Like, we're going to be getting live action, so people are, of course, going to want to know more about the character. But I just like seeing that people are going back and actually reading comic books.
All of these amazing
to get that information.
Writers and artists that pour their hearts into their craft that they love, being able to actually have it spread out to wider audience.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. I actually went to my high school reunion last night, my 10-year, and a friend of mine is actually working on a comic book for himself with a couple friends. So it's good. It's good to see that the art form isn't completely dead. You know what I mean? It's heartwarming.
Love it.
Yeah. So next up, we got this next Batman movie. Paul Dano has been cast. We all know.
Should know.
We all
great
should
movie.
know. If you're in the know, Paul Dano is he's the guy that was in most recently that I know of Swiss Army Man as the main character.
Can we call that movie a cult classic?
I think we can.
Definitely wasn't like widely seen, was it?
It wasn't widely. No. It was one of those movies that like it was like Little Miss Sunshine, where it's like people knew about it and loved it, but it wasn't like a blockbuster. You know what I mean? And it came out in theaters, but people were still kind of like, I don't get it. But when you watch it all the way through,
Dano is a layered actor.
He can fucking put it down. Like,
hell yeah.
Like, it was kind of a long movie, in my opinion, but whatever. But I was in that movie the whole time, if you feel me. Like, I was
hell yeah,
paying attention, you know what I mean? And
well, and you pair that with this Pattinson that is about to be in The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe that looks like just a character-driven head trip.
Yes, The Lighthouse. I keep seeing new trailers
Zoe Kravitz,
for that.
Catwoman.
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. Is Zoe Kravitz married to Jason Momoa?
I believe that's accurate, yes. That sounds correct.
Yes, they are. Okay. Wow, she really stayed stagnant on that one. she clearly likes a certain type.
But this definitely starts to unfold more of a picture, I feel, right? With having Riddler confirmed, Catwoman confirmed, with this
Catwoman.
Robert Pattinson seeming to be more of like a detective noir-esque Matt Reeves style project.
So I think yes, I like Matt Reeves because of what he's done with the Planet of the Apes. That was fantastic. And I know that he's good at combining the action and then the emotional, like, face-to-face time.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at pairing those side by side and kind of flowing back into one another. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to see in a good Batman movie, is like a little bit of, like, dark in the shadows, and then it goes into like action sequence, and then it goes back into the shadows and like detective and noir and dark, and then all of a sudden you have to fight a guy, but it's okay, and then back into the shadows, because you want that roller coaster, emotional roller coaster when you go to see the movie. And with a Batman, you want just that balance, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, DC's earning the trust of the day. You know what I mean? Being able to have a consistent track record of learning from mistakes and improving and learning what the audience likes.
I would
And
hope they would learn from their mistakes.
yeah, I mean, each trial and error is a new at bat, and
At bat.
no, but I'm very curious to see how this unfolds, because
They're clearly
with
trying to go in their own direction.
the Nolan Batmans, you could juggle both Joker and Harvey Dent in the same movie, or Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow at the same time.
Yeah.
Catwoman, Bane. So having this pairing of villains for this Batman seems to kind of, in my eyes, paint a picture of what we're going to see. And I hope that they're going to have this feel like an independent entity and not touch on the Justice League of it all.
Yeah. I don't want Justice League or like any other superheroes mentioned. Like Superman, none of it. Like you could maybe have something on the news about Superman. Maybe, but that would be anything more than that. I wouldn't like it.
Right. Not trying to have cameos.
I'm not trying to have a whole lot of cameos. We already know that Catwoman and Riddler are going to be in it, and they're probably going to throw in one more for safe measure.
If you could have your pick of the rogues gallery, what would be the 1/3 villain that would make you feel real happy? Because I've been wanting, like, I'll kick off Clayface. If we could do a good live action Clayface, nothing would make me more stoked.
I want to see Freeze. I could see a Freeze in this, maybe.
Yeah, Victor Freeze does deserve a good, earnest take.
He could even be like one of those characters they reference like on the news or something. Like, man put into cryostasis after
And with technology these
accident.
days,
Yeah,
they could make him menacing as fuck.
for sure. So yeah, I could see a Freeze for sure in this as like a residual character, or not a residual character, but like a background character. Why is it residual?
I don't know. Do we have a do we stick with Gordon? Like, do we have JK come back? This is going to be interesting with the timing of it all.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a completely retcon Batman either, or if it's going to reference like Jason Momoa, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman in that universe, or if it's going to be like a Joker situation where it's all on its own and it's just in its own bubble. Because why would they make something like this if it isn't going to tie into future installments? You know?
Right, like we don't want to get a whole bunch of cameos, but we also want to know that eventually down the line they're in the same sandbox.
Yeah, because like you want there to be a continuation, of course, with movies like this. You want there to be like, oh, let's see a Poison Ivy and Catwoman team up in, I don't know,
Birds of Prey sequel.
Yeah. And then tie that into them encountering Robert Pattinson Batman. Like, I could see that, but I don't know. All I know is that Dan, what's his name? Paul Dano? Dan Paulo? I think he's a great pick for the Riddler. 100%. It definitely wasn't going to be Jesse Eisenberg.
There's such a delicate line to ride with Riddler between campy and competent, because like if you go full competent and no quirky like touch of camp, then I don't like him just being a mustache twirler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he's going to be like kind of like a loner situation where he's kind of like a Joker where he's like off on his own, maybe lives with his mom and is just writing riddles and poems and like soliloquies and all that other shit, and then something happens to him because of Batman, basically, and he sets out to destroy him through his riddles. So
well, having a detective Batman versus a competent Riddler is going to be a fun cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Cat and bat.
And then I think the Catwoman situation is going to be like Batman is chasing like a criminal and he happens upon her stealing shit, and
do we go the romance angle?
Yes. At least some sort of like minor flirting. There has to be. You can't have a Catwoman and Batman in a live action movie and not have some sort of flirting going on. So, that's just my opinion. But yeah, like I said, Paul Dano is I think it's a great casting for that. Speaking of great casting, our favorite NPH on the planet, Neil Patrick Harris, has been officially added to the cast of Matrix 4. Do you think he's going to be playing like a pivotal role or just as like a fun side character?
There's the what I could expect and the what I would want, and I'll give you the what I would expect.
Do you think his
first.
name will be Neil Patrick Harris?
Oh, I doubt it. I think the Wachowskis, because it's the Wachowskis coming back for this, right?
Yeah, at least Wachowski. I think it's just one, Lana Wachowski. Yeah, she's directing and writing.
Word.
Which I'm sure, like, the Wachowski brothers are in on it in some way, or they're at least they have some minor assisting role in the writing process, but it's mainly her.
So the what I would expect with this is having him be an agent.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Like a nice agent, maybe. Like someone who's trying to like befriend you, basically.
I don't know if they go the agent route. I could see him just playing this straight.
What if he's the straight?
That wasn't. I get 100% not intentional. But
I think it's even funnier that you didn't mean it like that.
playing a deadpan,
Yeah.
very seriously.
I think he could be the next Oracle. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, if you have him be one of
the Oracle could be anyone. That was the whole like thing. I think, if I remember correctly, that like the Oracle can inhabit basically anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the One can inhabit anyone. And also kind of like an agent can inhabit anyone. It's kind of like the same thing. It's just its own thing.
Along with NPH, we heard that Jada Pinkett Smith is coming back.
Yes.
And all of this being
reprising her role as, what was the name again?
Naomi, I believe.
Jada Pinkett Smith, Matrix. Jada Pinkett Sith.
Are we going to be retconning Matrix 3 at all?
I don't think so.
So we're going post-Revolutions,
Yeah.
and it's just a new Matrix, and we have a Zion that still exists, still trying to free people from the Matrix, so there's still the balance? Is that what my...
Well,
how do you remember the ending of that being? Because there
okay.
was, like, peace between humans and machines because of Neo's sacrifice.
Neo sacrificed
purging
himself.
it of Smith.
Yes.
Because Smith had become a more dangerous plague to both sides than anything.
Yes. So I watched a video about this a few weeks ago, and the way it was explained was there has been, I think, 4 or 7 iterations of the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
and there has always been the one, and it has always been Neo. Yeah. So Neo will essentially be reborn in the Matrix. And then I think what they're going to do is bring his consciousness out of the Matrix into the real world.
You just made me think of a Neo versus Neo. We're gonna Gemini Man Matrix.
Yeah. It could be that little of that. It might be a little of that.
Like, because all of the previous, like, reincarnations of the One were because they made the same choice to
Yes.
hit the reset button. But this Neo was the one to break the trend to go save Trinity.
Yes.
So now he broke the loop. Is there still going to be another Neo created?
So that's what I think, is that there might be a reverse. This is weird. Do you remember in Matrix Reloaded when Smith entered the body of the dude? I forget his name. Not important. Where I think a new Neo will be created to balance out the... Basically, I think there's going to be 2 Neos, and one is not going to know he's basically a clone or like a copy, like a duplicate, and the other one is going to know that the other one is a duplicate, and in order for him, the one Neo that knows he's a duplicate, to save everyone is to kill this Neo that doesn't know he's a duplicate.
Man. Matrix is always a head trip.
It is always a head trip, and I think if they're really going to go for it, they're going to do a bunch of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're basically in digital space. So the technology that they had in the Matrix was, as far as CGI goes, it was good for its time.
Oh yeah, revolutionary at its
Yeah.
time. Bullet time is a fucking
Bullet time is a thing.
masterpiece.
Yes, 100%. But now they can do so much with CGI
Oh yeah.
that I think they're going to do a lot of, let's say, action sequences for sure, a lot of kung fu and a lot of weapons, but I also think it's going to be a lot of like manipulating, kind of like Inception, where like they started like manipulating the like landscape type thing and like folding things in on itself.
Right. Because the army of woke people becomes so vast that it's like
Yeah.
they just have to be more aggressive to the people who are unplugged.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be a little bit of that. And
That'd be a cool new take to have of like when Zion starts becoming so more prepared.
I think it might be like one of those things where Zion becomes too powerful and starts fucking up the Matrix. And then they're like, well, we need the Matrix as like the balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so if like if someone's trying to take everyone out of the Matrix, then we all die. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those dilemmas.
Right.
And those like, internal turmoils. We got really off the topic of Neil Patrick Harris, but
He folds into it somewhere.
he folds into it somewhere,
He's-
I'm excited to like.
Is he gonna be unplugged? Is the question.
Good question.
Because I like that Oracle take. I really
Ooh,
do.
He might be the Oracle, or I could see him being like a politician in like the real world. You know what I mean? Like outside of the Matrix in Zion.
Voice of Zion.
Yeah, like I could see him being like the person that the people start to follow in Zion, but he's actually a bad guy.
Mm,
You know, he plays those parts pretty well.
good old double agent.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I love me some NPH, and it's been a while since I've seen him in anything. I mean, what was the last movie he was in? Oh, Mobby. If you can name the last movie Neil Patrick Harris was in, comment down below. Or what was your favorite Neil Patrick Harris movie? That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So for Beyond, oh wait, do we have another screen? No, because we talked Shriek. That's what it was. Wait, did we talk Shriek? No. What was the other screen?
Yeah, we talked Batman
Batman.
at length.
Oh, okay. Yep. Batman, Neil Patrick Harris. Okay. So yeah, for Beyond,
Bam.
bam, boom,
We're
bam.
there.
So there is a new Game Boy type device called Analog, which is a third-party person. It says a multi-video game system portable handheld, a digital audio workstation with a built-in synthesizer and sequencer. A tribute to portable gaming, out-of-the-box Pocket is compatible. Well, I read that weird. They have terrible punctuation. A tribute to portable gaming, out-of-the-box Pocket is is it called Pocket? It is called Pocket. Meet Analog Pocket. Okay. Pocket is compatible with 2,780 plus Game Boy games, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, cartridge library. Pocket works with cartridge adapters for other handheld games too, like Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Atari Lynx, and more. Completely engineered in 2 FPGAs. Don't know what an FPGA is, but that's cool.
So it looks like a Game Boy.
It's-
it works kind of like a Game Boy. It's a very nice cartridge capable
It's like if you took a Game Boy.
Wi-Fi Game Boy.
It looks like if you took a Game Boy Advance and a Game Boy Color and put it together with the little. It's got little triggers and it's got the lights on the side. And apparently it has HDMI, mini HDMI out, so you can plug it into a TV and use it as a controller, basically.
It looks sweet.
It looks sweet. And if you still have a bunch of those old like Game Boy games and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advanced and Game Gear games sitting around, like, this is a gold mine because this is exactly what you want.
One has a
rechargeable, like,
library too, right?
yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure you can actually save games to it. Pocket. Oh, that's the digital. That's the audio thing. There's a dock for it that you can buy. So it's going to be shipping in 2020 at $200 or $199. Yeah, and you can sign up. As far as, I thought I saw something where you could like save games to it, but I think that might just be in like the developers package for like people who for companies who want to like dig into the code and make it like better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like
breaking your phone.
It's like an open platform handheld gaming unit where like you can just kind of break into it and mod it. Like, they're not going to get mad at you. Like, they want you to do it. So it looks sleek. They got a all black and all white, real simple, and yeah, it's full color or black and white.
It's very simplistic.
Screen.
Just get your D-pad, your 4 buttons, and 3 little side corner buttons.
Looks like start, select, and something else. I don't know. And then there's, of course, the volume buttons and stuff on the side. There's a headphone jack. Yeah, looks like a cool little device. And for $200, that's about what we paid for Game Boys back in the day. And it comes with its own little like music synthesizer on it. Like, if you're an audio person and you like to make music, then this might be, and you like gaming, then this might be a fun little device for you.
So let's take all that positivity and let's just flip it on its head.
About that positivity.
Just flip it on the table.
Well, okay, so there's a little bit of a silver lining in this. So Xbox is working on AI used to bleep out bad words on, TV to be used on Xbox Live. Now, initially, I did not like this. This seemed very dystopian and like 1984-ish, like in plain sight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're just like censoring speech. But they're not gonna like, they're not just going to censor all language, clean slate, like open net everyone's language. From what I can tell, right now they're rolling out a text-based messaging filter that has like tiers to it, where you can set it as like friendly language only, or medium language, or mature, or completely unfiltered. So you have the choice of whether or not you want to hear that language, which is good. I like that. However, we kind of talked about this earlier, but this will do two things. One, it will create a whole new avenue of slurs and swears for people to use in lieu of others. It's going to take a while. Sure, fine. But it's going to happen.
Well, and it's also going to be hiccupy at first, trying to pick up on... what was the one earlier? Toss your mom's salad?
Yeah.
Fucking awful.
Like, it's going to pick up words like fuck, cunt, bitch, tits, cock, pussy, vagina, asshole. It's going to pick up those words.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as tossing your mom's salad or vacating your father's colon, I don't think it's going to be able to catch those ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make like conversation more
It's gonna make you creative with your shit talking. Is what it boils down to.
You're if you are a shit talker, you're going to have to get a better vocabulary, I would say. So, I mean, in that sense, that's not really a bad thing because people would be.
But I like
more
that they
inclined
have
to create,
the
but-
tiers. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
if you want to have more of a, I don't want to have any type of censorship. I want to be able to say exactly what I want to say, and I'm
want
not going
people
have
to
thin-
hear exactly what I have to say.
Well,
Yeah.
and the pendulum swinging both ways of like I have thick enough skin to where I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like people have the option to get wild, or they have the option because I don't see this being a terrible thing as far as like the wholesome community parents trying to like let their kids have fun with video games like other people do, and then they go on there and all of a sudden
I think
their
this is
kid,
all
like
Fortnite's
a
problem.
parrot speaking things that they haven't.
Yeah.
Well, and the double-edged sword of it is, the kids that are the cause of this, parents try and protect their kids from vulgarity or, and also, like, trying to make a more positive community, which I think is a better side to it.
That's not a bad thing.
Right, exactly, because, point that X brought up when we were talking about it in the group chat was the fact that, if you're having just team chats, then it's going to generally be a lot less aggressive than talking to your opponent chats.
Yeah.
But again, even having a completely open chat, it's nice having the option for censorship, child block ship for, parents that are trying to ease kids into it, because it's like, all right, well, if they're not ready for it, in your opinion, they're not ready for it, you're not going to just throw someone who has never swam before into the deep end and be like, figure it out. And if you do, it's a sink or swim, and that's your choice as, like someone who's raising a kid. But when it comes to, like, if you're paying for something and wanting to get the entertainment,
The most wholesome experience out of it.
Well, and again, pendulum swinging both ways. If you're not caring about the censorship and you're getting frustrated that, like, you're hearing beeps every 5 seconds, because if you're playing a game with aggressive people, you're not going to stop them from the swears. You're just going to be hearing either silence for a bunch of it or bleeps for a bunch of it. And so people that want to have that experience still have the option to. Because if you're getting frustrated in the game and just screaming F.
Well, where would you say that you would hear most swears and insults and bad words during gaming? At what points in games?
I feel like you're queuing me up for something and I don't have the proper answer here. I mean, like
when do people swear the most during gaming?
Losing?
Yes.
I mean, the frustration of dying, losing, missing the objective, getting past whatever may have you, getting blue shelled in Mario Kart. Like, I'll play Mario Kart with some wholesome ass little kids online. If I had the open mic, and if I'm playing Mario Kart and I get blue shelled after killing it all game, and the final lap get blue shelled, and the guy that's been on my coattail the entire match wins, I'm like, F! I'm screaming some kind of obscenity. And it's like, well, it's either gonna get censored if you want it to, which is fine if you don't want your kid hearing that, and then if you want to be able to like hear that sweet victory of like, yes, I just destroyed your life.
Wouldn't it be easier to have
Hear
like
your suffering.
an age setting for like profiles on Xbox and PlayStation? Like when you create a profile for someone,
An 18+ account,
like
as
an
opposed
18
to a
plus
pre-18
account,
account.
and
Well, I
then
feel that's
like
what they're
the
trying to
censor.
do with this tiers.
Yeah, I like that, but I like the like age restrict, because if you have like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or like a 10-year-old, like let's say I mean, fucking, I was swearing at 12 years old.
Right, but not all families are the same. You know what I mean? Like,
agree.
I completely desensitized myself, but that doesn't mean that I can speak for everybody.
True, I agree. But that's why they say PG-13 is like 13 is a cutoff where like you're adult enough to see some violence and to hear some swears, at least an ass or a bitch or two. And if you're worried about people 12 and under and their exposure to that type of vulgarity, I don't get to use that word often, but I do enjoy it when I can pull it out. Giggity. Then make sure, if you're worried about people and children 12 and under being introduced to vulgarity of that magnitude, it's on you to get them games that don't involve that type of vulgarity. But that's where Fortnite comes in, where it looks like a kid's game, but you know there is a whole slew of words going through that place.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, people are awful at times.
That's where it comes in on the game manufacturer to... They know this type of language is going to be like it's up.
They're taking all the steps necessary.
Yes.
They're not completely saying that you do not have a singular option to be able to experience your content the way you're used to. It's just now
and they're not saying that you can't swear. It's that they're just going to make sure that like people who don't want to hear it don't hear it.
No, it's not like the South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and they're attaching a taser to you every time you swear.
Because
boy, would that be awful. Just have your
understand.
headset on and it tases you every time you swear.
Oh, my God.
It's like, oh, man, they're taking this.
But the thing is, like, I understand it from a corporation perspective when it comes to, like, Microsoft as a whole and, like, Xbox as a whole, because they're trying to make it a platform for families to game together. And
that's Nintendo.
Well, yes, Nintendo is there too, but like Xbox is also trying to be like, it's weird. Like Nintendo kind of has
Microsoft's
the
taking the wholesome family route, huh?
They kind of are. They're trying to be like the family entertainment system, whereas like PlayStation is more for like
the gamer,
right? And Xbox is trying to be like, hey, play with your friends and like play with your sister, play with your dad. Like, let's do this. Let's all play games together. And they're trying to be a platform of like gaming and entertainment and good times and happiness, but at the same time, they're trying to like make sure they don't get a bad rap at all. And it's like, it's not up to you at the end of the day. Like, people who are sweary or like have, you know, vulgar language, they're gonna do it if they suck, basically, at the end of the day. And
I mean, I've said it a couple times already. The fact that like when you say it the most, it's like, well, I mean, when you lose, you're like, damn.
Yeah, if you can explain to a child that when someone is doing or saying those things, they are usually losing in some way, shape, or form.
Actually, that's kind of not true, because if you are whooping the shit out of someone, like I'm a big fighting game kid.
I mean, yeah, so I like trash talking when I'm winning too. But
I love playing face to face.
But I also am a good person, and I won't talk shit to a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and that's what they're trying to do. It's like if you're playing this in the same room as someone.
If there's a very specific type of person that like swears at a child. Like if a child is in a game and people are talking and they're just swearing. That's just like being out in public, kind of, in a way. Like, you're kind of putting yourself into a space where, like, there's not a lot of rules.
Open domain.
Open domain. Like, this is the jungle. Like, and, like, I just think that Xbox doesn't want any bad press. I'm going to Walter White this flag. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the progress of this technology is, because
I agree that like changing of opinion over giving it time to breathe, like as a knee jerk, censorship is very frustrating, but understanding like their attention to detail of trying to give it more of a nuanced like options.
Yeah.
Like, because if you placate to lowest common denominator, the lowest can get low sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're
I
trying
agree.
to appease everyone in the way that you're saying, like trying to bring the family together, then if everyone is to be happy, they have to be able to have the option to choose.
So this article says at the end of it, in the meantime, Smith said an algorithm could measure an overall level of toxicity, quote unquote, in a group chat and hand out automatic mutings for problematic users.
Let's not act like people can't be shit. Like, to be
Yeah.
like,
I think that like we need to we need to start calling out shitty people more instead of like covering up the shittiness. It's just putting an air freshener over a dead body. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's not taking care of the problem.
that's exactly right.
So at the end of the day, if you're an asshole, try not to be such an asshole.
I'm just gonna stop it.
Yeah. Like,
Just please stop.
I mean, you don't have to stop. I'm not asking you to stop. Be less of an asshole. Like, be a fun asshole. Don't be a not fun asshole. You know, very loose butthole you are right now. It's not good. We want the tight butthole. Very tight.
I don't get the euphemism, but I still love
It's from Workaholics.
That's so good.
It's good. For those of you who know Workaholics, you know what I'm talking about. Very tight butthole.
Oh man.
So,
before we
speaking of tight buttholes, yeah.
I was gonna say before we send out of here, there was one more quick little shout out I wanted to give because
No, yeah, you're good.
it's not like full topic worthy, but just because it's on the tip of my mind.
You're fine.
People are talking a whole lot right now about like Death Stranding's right around the corner shortly thereafter. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
This Obsidian project, The Outer Worlds, comes out the 25th of this month. So before November, before we start getting all of the tidal wave of the upcoming like hits, this game looks sweet. It's like Fallout meets Borderlands.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick.
No, it's coming out so soon, and it's likely to get slept on or looked over. But
Yeah, I remember seeing this at E3.
it looks so fun, and it's worth a quick look. So it's not going to be entirely linear, and I think this is completely justifiable aesthetic.
I like it. It's kind of got a oh yeah, that's very Borderlands.
It looks fun. It looks like a fun game.
Yeah. It looks pretty linear as far as the story goes. Like, yeah, you can like walk around and like encounter stuff. But as far as like the campaign or like the story mode goes, there's definitely like you're dealing with one person, it seems. I don't know. I'll have to get my hands on it.
Again, like next week.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That'd be
It's gonna
good.
be dope.
Cool. All right, everybody. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And click the link down below and the bell. Hit the bell, ding, ding, so you can get notification next time we upload another podcast and or another video. So, my name is Jonathan Tubbs.
I'm Keegan Lockerall. It's been fun, you guys. Love you. Peace.